Hey guys, welcome to my channel Hammond's Hobbies. My name's Glenn, and in today's video we're going to have a right geek fest and look at a spreadsheet regarding the brand new Chrome 2024, so you guys can see every single parallel that you could possibly hit in the set, and also all of the brand new inserts that have been announced. So let's get right into it. Welcome to all the new subscribers, really appreciate all of you being here. If you like any of the information that I'm giving in this video, please, all I ask is that you smash up the like button on this video and also click subscribe if you're new here. I'm actually going to split the information in this video into two separate videos. That's because we've had two new releases announced, and that is the Chrome Hobby Box as well as the Qualifying Lap Box, and they have different parallels and different odds of hitting certain inserts in each box. So I don't want to confuse people by mentioning all of it in one video and people getting their wires crossed. So I'm actually going to split it into two separate videos, and this video in particular is regarding the brand new Chrome 2024 Formula One hobby boxes, which is the £220 boxes that Topps put up for pre-order a few days ago. If you haven't already pre-ordered your boxes, you can do so. I've put my allocation from Topps on my website, hammondshobbies.com, so feel free to go over and pre-order your boxes if you haven't already for the release date of November the 22nd. That is subject to change. I've also got the Qualifying Lap boxes up for pre-order as well. I've had my allocation of those. Those may come out either the same day or maybe a few days later, but still you can pre-order them on my website live right now at hammondshobbies.com. If you would like to take part in box breaks or case breaks of this brand new product, you can head on over to Whatnot. There is a link in the description of this video. If you use it, you'll get £10 of free credit when you make your first purchase. You could even buy a spot in the brand new set for free. Right, let's get into all the information for today's video, and I have pre-warned you, it is a geek fest. We are going to be looking at a spreadsheet for most of this video. I'm going to try and talk as quick as I can, but also mentioning all the things that I want to talk about, so that this video isn't an hour-long video. So let's get right into it. We have a 200 card base set. If you look at down the left hand side here, you'll see that I've numbered every single card in the set, and I've also mentioned the driver that's featured in each and every card. Now, if you're looking at this thinking, oh, I want to have access to the spreadsheet, you can. I've put a link in the description down below. It's completely free. I don't expect anything for it. You can click on the link. You may have to have a Microsoft account to actually open it and view it. But that's what I use. I use Microsoft Excel, unfortunately. Maybe one of you out there can convert it into Google Excel or whatever their version is. But we've got a 200 card base set. Let's have a little recap of what is featured in the 200 base card set. We have 20 F1 drivers. This is going to be their portrait images. This is going to be the most popular images in the set. There's one for each driver. Special notes or mentions that I should shout out. Logan Sargent is no longer in F1. He's been replaced by, this year, Franco Colapinto. And then we also have Daniel Ricciardo, who has been replaced by Liam Lawson. But obviously with Topps printing these sets months in advance, when this set was printed, Daniel Ricciardo and Logan Sargent were both still in F1. We will probably see Liam Lawson's true rookie card next year. So we have then F2 drivers. There's 22 F1 drivers in the set. We then have, for the very first time, F3 drivers. This is controversial. Some of you are happy about this. Some of you are not happy about this. I have my own view on it, and I'll get into that a bit later. Special shout out is we have the very first female athlete driver in the entire Formula One history. As far as I'm aware, there aren't any cards, Topps or before, I can think of one actually off the top of my head, but that feature a Formula 3 or F1 driver female. So she's the very first one, quite an attractive female at that. So I think she's going to be a popular chase. one for the women, but also for the men as well. I think that Sophia is going to be a popular chase for the F3 set. That's my personal opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Anything that I'm mentioning in this video that you think, I've got a point of view of that, comment down below. We then have F1 cars, F2 cars, guess what? F3 cars. Now, I just want to mention up to this point, so we're up to 144 in the base set. And if we actually look at the cards that are featured so far, there's 22 F2 drivers, like I mentioned, and 30 F3 drivers. If you actually add those together, that comes to 52. And if you add their car images on top of that, which is one for every driver, that means there's 104 non-F1 cards in this set. Now, when I first saw that, I was a little bit deflated. I was a bit like, I don't think I'm happy about that. But then when I actually looked back, just recently, I've just completed a flagship 2022 set. I wanted all the rainbow foils. And as I was putting it together, I realised actually there's 1 to 2 team principals for every single team. So there's actually about 12 to 20 F1 team bosses. Now, I actually believe that team bosses, I know there's some of you out there collect F1 team bosses, but overall, I would say that they are probably the least desirable cards in the set. And not only that, I would say they have the least amount of speculation going forward. And this is an example. If we look at Matteo Binotto, or Harry Potter as I like to call him, obviously he was the team boss of Ferrari. He left, he's been out of F1 for a year or so, and now he's coming back and leading the Audi program coming into F1. Are we going to see a huge spike in his cards? I don't think so. Whereas if you look at F3 getting into F2 and then getting into F1, there's going to be huge price appreciation for that driver. Now, I know it's a 1 in 30 chance out of the drivers, and then you have to say, well, what are the odds they're going to get into F2 and then get into F1? The odds are low, but I actually believe that you still have way more speculation and price appreciation available with an F3 driver as opposed to a team boss. So even though we've lost 15 sort of team boss cards, we've gained 30 F3 drivers, but I actually would rather collect F3 driver portraits hands down over team principals. What do you guys think? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment down below. But that's my take on all of the F3 and F2 drivers that are featured in this set. We then move on to some of the cards that we are going to be chasing more so of, or more desirable cards, and that is race winners. Usually with race winners, you have one for every single race. But this year, they've actually just narrowed it right down because I think Topps recognised, Max won 99% of the races last year. So rather than creating 20 Max Verstappen images, let's do one for each race winner. So that's Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez and Carlos Sainz. We also have sprint race winners, which obviously evens the playing field because there's a more variety of drivers that won sprint races as well. We have Sergio Perez, Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri. There's actually 4 Max images for that subset. We then have pole positions, again making it more even, more spread out, more drivers featured. So we've got Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz and King Louis. So I think this is a good thing. And then we move on to the driver of the days. And this is probably the most mixed bag of driver of the days that I've seen. Usually it's Max, Lewis, Charles and the odd Lando Norris. This year, for driver of the days, bearing in mind these are for last year's results, we have Fernando Alonso, Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, Esteban Ocon, Lewis Hamilton, Alexander Albon, about 5 different Lando Norrises, Fernando Alonso, Charles Leclerc, and Yuki Tsunoda and Oscar Piastri. So again, a right mixed bag. I think this is a good thing because if you look at 2023, it is very heavy Max Verstappen. He won a lot of the races and he got driver of the day in quite a few of the races, which means that Max Verstappen actually has way more hits, and not just by a couple. I'm talking quadruple what some of the other drivers have. A lot of the drivers like Lewis, George, Carlos, they all have like 4 to 5 images in the set. Whereas this year, Max has about 24 images that represent Max. And then George and Lewis and Max and Charles, all the others, they have about 15 to 17. So even though there is more of Max, it's not the quadruple that we're used to. It's actually a more even playing field, which is good if you're taking part in box or case breaks, like with myself over on Whatnot, because I see it all the time where someone will buy the Lance Stroll spot or the Yuki Tsunoda spot and they hit nothing, absolutely nothing. And then we see loads of F2 and we see loads of Max Verstappen. And the next driver that's featured a lot in 23 is Charles Leclerc. I see those 3 spots hitting all the time, but hardly any of the other drivers. This year, I think it's going to be a bit more even, which is great for you collectors out there. That means you can buy the Yuki Tsunoda spot or Lance Stroll spot and feel more confident that you're going to have a bigger variety of hits that you're able to hit, rather than it just being all Max and F2. So I actually think this is a good thing. Well done to Topps for doing it. For the award winners, we have Red Bull, Max, Red Bull, Theo Pourchaire and Logan Sargent. And for the legends, in last year's set, they have about 5 or 6 legends, which are Michael Schumacher, Senna, Mansell, Prost, David Coulthard, and they all have 1 image each. But this year, in the base set, they have 3 images each, which means a lot more legends, which I think is a good thing because I love collecting the legends. I would rather collect legends than team bosses or F3s, hands down, all day long. I'd love it if Topps just did a set of just legends. I think that would be really cool. So I'm glad that there's a lot more legends featured in this set. What do you think? Comment down below. It just means there's a bigger variety in this set. You've got F2, F3, a lot more legends, a lot more F1 drivers featured. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Comment down below. And then we move on to the inserts for the sets. But that is the 200 base card set done. Now, I'm going to be talking about the parallels that you can hit in the hobby boxes, the 220 quid boxes in this one. I will be doing a separate video, as I mentioned, for the qualifying lap boxes regarding the special hits that you can get just from that product. You can hit a lot of these in the value or the blaster boxes, but they feature a different type of refractor called sepia refractors, but you can also hit parallels in those value boxes, and that is probably going to be the cheapest way if you just want to complete the base set, in my opinion. Hopefully with that knowledge you can then go out and spend your money wisely depending on what it is you're trying to complete. I personally don't want to just complete base sets. I want to complete a whole set of a certain parallel. So I need to look at what product do I put all my money into so that I know, you know, that I'm not wasting money trying to hit a parallel that I've got no chance of hitting. So let's have a little look at the parallels we've got for the 200 base set. Obviously you can hit the base cards. We then have refractors. Refractors are typically 1 in every sort of 3 to 4 packs. Checkered flags are the black and white checkered flag cards. Those are 1 per box. We then have the first set of parallels, which are the 2-tone effect parallels, which again has carried over from the last few years. And these are non-numbered, so you can't hit numbers of these. They are just short print versions of the base cards. So we have purple, green. We have gold, purple, orange, red, and red, green. I actually really like the red, green personally myself. That's my personal preference. And some of the McLaren cards in particular look really good in the orange red because it sort of matches with their colour scheme. So they're the non-numbered hits. We then go into the very first parallels that are numbered hits, and that starts off with mini diamonds. For the last 2 years, mini diamonds have looked awesome. They're out of 299, so they're the highest print run numbered parallel that you can hit in the entire set. We then have Fuchsia Lava, which has carried over from last year. But last year they were numbered out of 250. This year they're out of 225. We then have purple checkered flags. These are the checkered flags like the black and white ones, but they are coloured and they are also numbered. So these are numbered out of 199 and they are hobby box exclusive only. You cannot hit checkered flag parallels in qualifying lap boxes or I believe the value boxes either. So purple checkered flags are hobby box only exclusives. We then have Aqua Sona, which has replaced Aqua Wave version, and I've got something to say about the waves, which I'm pretty devastated about. I'll get onto that in a second. But this replaces the Aqua Sonas. Look really cool actually. They're out of 150 as well, the same as Aqua Waves from last year. We then have green out of 99s. We have pink out of 75s. We have gold, solid gold out of 50, but this is where I want to make my point. Where is the gold wave? Ever since I've been collecting Topps F1 products, they have always done a gold wave variant. It's my favourite parallel from all the years. I try and collect every single image in gold wave as much as I can. But no more. No more, Glenn. Topps, why are you doing this to me? There is no gold wave out of 50. There is no aqua wave. There is no orange wave and there is no red wave. They've done away with the wave parallel. I don't know why. Maybe it's a production issue. Maybe they're harder to make and it slows production down. I don't know. I don't know what reason it is, but there are no wave cards, which is a real shame because in the last couple of year products, the aqua waves, the gold waves and even the orange waves have been my favourite looking parallel cards that you could possibly collect. So what do you guys think about this? Comment down below. Because of this, there's actually less parallels variants in this set than there have been for the last couple of sets, but that's because they're splitting the product into two different boxes. But actually, if you're just comparing Chrome 2024 and Chrome 2023 hobby boxes, there's less parallel variants and numbers in this set than there were for last year's set. So you're going to see more of these hits appearing, which is good for people that regularly take part in hobby box breaks, but less of the variants. So what do you guys think? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you care about waves? Some of you may not even like them. We then move on to orange out of 25, then orange checkered flag out of 25, and a brand new parallel for this year is the black out of 10s. These were available in flagship 2021 and 22, and they look awesome. They are some of the best parallels from the flagship set. I would say even better for certain images, especially the Mercedes when they had their black livery. The black parallels look better than some of the red out of 5s. Controversial. So I want to see what these look like for this year. I'm hoping they've got like a nice foil effect to them. They're not just sort of like plain black matte finish. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see these black out of 10 hits, and I'm sure that some of you are actually these are gonna be more desirable than some of the red out of 5s. Bit controversial again, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. We then have red out of 5, which always look awesome. Then we have red checkered flags out of 5, again a hobby box exclusive. Print and plate 1 of 1s and superfractor 1 of 1s. Obviously the biggest chases in the set and the best looking cards. That is the entire 200 base set and every single parallel that you can hit in the entire set. And I've talked about some of the highlights in the set. Comment down below what you think about anything you've said regarding these base set. Then we move on to the inserts. Now, some of you have messaged me recently saying, Glenn, what are inserts? Are they worth collecting? Inserts are little subsets of graphics or certain artworks that feature select number of drivers or racetracks. In particular, recently we've had obviously art duos, team logos, obviously the Speed Demons, Camber. I hate the Camber cards, but I'll get onto that later. And we have obviously other insert sets. The most common insert set that you're going to hit time and time again, especially if you take part in box breaks and case breaks with myself, we're going to see a lot of 1954 Topps cards. There's about 30 of them, and they're the most common hit. There's one in every 3 packs, so we're going to see a lot. But you can hit them in normal refractor, which is their base version. Then you can hit them out green out of 99, gold out of 50, orange out of 25, red out of 5, print and plate 101s, and again, superfractors. Now, what I like that Topps have done this year is they've sort of unified the parallels that you can hit across the board of different inserts. Last year's set, certain insert sets you could only hit in orange, red, and superfractor. Some of them had green, some of them had gold wave, some of them had gold. So it was a bit of a mixture all round. It's quite hard to actually work out in your mind like what you possibly could hit. But in this year's set, they've made it either you can't hit parallels at all of certain insert sets, or you can, and they are green, gold, orange, red, print and plate, and 1 of 1 superfractors. That's it. So well done to Topps for obviously making that a lot easier for people to get their heads around. So you can complete the insert set of 99 and 54 in these colours. Same for the recharge. I'll put an image up here of the recharge card. Those are 1 in 5 pack odd chance of hitting the refractor normal version. Again, a very common hit. We're going to see hundreds of them being pulled, but you can hit them again in green, gold, orange, red, print and plate, and superfractor. Then we have speed demons, again a very common hit, 1 in every 4 packs. There's 25 of them featuring F1 and F2 drivers. Again, you can hit those in those different color parallels. I don't remember seeing green for speed demons for last year. I'm pretty sure I've never seen a green speed demon, but like I say, Topps have unified all the different inserts on this year's set. We have the helmet collection insert, again a 1 in 7 pack chance. This has 15 images in there of different F1 drivers. Again, green, gold, orange, red, print and plate, superfractor. Camber cards. Now, the reason why I hated camber cards from last year is because there was like 4 or 5 for each driver, and essentially it was the same image but them looking at different angles, like this, like this, like this. I think the worst one was Sergio Perez. He's got about 5 of them, and I just didn't see the point. Why have we got the same card 5 times over, just at slightly different angles? But this year they've just done 10 camber cards, and they've made it a more harder hit. It's 1 out of 10 packs to hit a camber card. Again, refractor, green, gold, orange, red, printing plates, and superfractors. Then we move on to SPs, or short prints. If you don't know what that means, it means they're bloody hard to hit. These are cards that you're only going to see 1 or 2 of per whole case. So you're not going to hit these in sort of every few packs. You're going to see these, if you're lucky, in a case. That is why they're referred to as short prints, because they were a lot shorter printed than the base, the inserts, the autographs. So these are tough sets to complete. We start off with inside track. The inside tracks have a 1 in 432 pack chance. To give you guys reference, there are 12 packs per box, and there's 12 boxes per case. So if we do 12 times 12, we get an answer of 144. So there's 144 packs in a case. So that means that these inside tracks, if we divide 432 by 144, actually comes to exactly 1 in 3 case chance. So I've written at the side here 3 cases. Now, there's only actually 5 images to complete that set. They're all of the top end drivers as well. So this is going to be a popular set to complete. We then have the Futuro. The Futuros were featured in last year's set, and they came in sort of like a navy blue colour. I've just written refractor here because obviously at this point I don't know what their colour scheme is. I've never seen one. But those are 1 in 288 packs, which is exactly 1 in 2 cases. So you're only going to hit 1 of these in every other case. These are F2 driver typically that are on the sort of radar of, speculators in the sport. One of the biggest ones in there is going to be Oliver Bearman, because he has already been signed to F1, so he's going to be the biggest driver in that set. And you can also hit Futuro autographs, but I'll get into that in a second. We have hidden gems. Hidden gems are really cool looking images, but they don't release the pack odds for these. They didn't last year, and they haven't done again this year. Now, the hidden gems, sort of like the background images and the graphics of it, are the same across different sports with Topps. They do the same style image for baseball, basketball, NFL, and F1, so I don't think there's going to be any changes in this one. So I'm expecting the same style images as 2023, but they've featured different drivers from last year, so there's no duplicate drivers from this year than there was last year. So you could actually complete the set from last year and then get the ones from this year, put them together, and they would look like a really nice little hidden gems set. But there's no odds for that, so I don't know how many you're going to get per case. If I take, for example, what I've broke over the last year, I've seen 2 in my very first 3 cases that I hit, and then I've opened probably 20 since, and I've only hit 1 in that whole time. So it's just random. It's just random. It's just far and few between. And I'm surprised that they haven't held their value better. I think it's because they're not numbered, but I think once people realise how few of them there are dotted about, I think over time we'll see those be good investments, I think, because there's drivers like Michael Schumacher, Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen. They've all got hidden gems, and in this year's one you've got David Coulthard, Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, Perez, and Daniel Ricciardo. We have the F1 armor cards. The F1 armor cards are numbered out of 50. I'm going to speculate that these F1 armors, because they're all numbered out of 50, from what I can see, you can't hit parallel versions of it. I actually think these are going to be 1 in sort of every 2 to 3 case chance, personally. I may be wrong with that. Comment down below if I'm wrong, but that's just something that I've speculated on. Turn up the lights. According to Topps, these are going to be 1 per case, so these are going to be very common hits. Obviously a case is still quite big, but if you imagine, obviously across the world there's going to be hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of cases ripped open, and if there's 1 of these per case, there's no parallel versions of them. You can only hit them in refractor from what I can see, and there's only 10 in the whole set, which means you're going to see the same 10 keep getting put on eBay over and over again. So I actually think the turn up the lights for 2024 are going to be a fairly common hit, a bit like Art Duo or the team logo based sort of cards. We then have the grid. They're a 1 in 72 pack chance, so you actually have 2 of these per case on average. These are all averages. There will be cases out there. When I'm saying you're only going to hit 1 per case, there are going to be cases where someone hits 5 of them in 1 case, and then there's going to be 5 cases where nobody hits any of them. So on average, it's 2 per case. So we're going to see these, again, quite a common hit, and from what I can see, there's no numbering on the refractors and there's no parallel version. So if any other news gets released on that between now and the release date, I'll share it with you guys. And then the big chase for this set is Ultrasonic, but they are a 1 in 720 pack chance, which is 1 in 5 cases. So these are going to be tough to hit, real tough. But it features a ton of F1 drivers. There's all 20 F1 drivers represented in this. There's 1 for each of them. Obviously, with only 1 per 5 cases, these are going to be tough to complete. But that is all of the inserts. Now, if you add up all of these inserts together, it comes to 190 inserts and short prints. If you consider that in previous years we typically have about 10 image variations and then normally about 30 to 50 inserts, that gives us about 50-60 different chases in the set. This year there's 190. Insane. If you add that 190 onto the 200 base set, that means for you to complete an entire base set with 1 of each insert and 1 of each of the short prints, you are looking at just under a 400 card base set. Now, a lot of the binders that you see behind me don't hold that many cards, so you either you're going to have to buy an extra large binder with extra sheets in them, or you're going to have to split it into 2 binders. That's how big this insert set is. And that's without the autographs. So the autographs, we move on to them. There's actually less base autographs in this set than there are for previous sets, but they have included autographs on some of the inserts that we've mentioned previously. So I'll get onto that in a second. But if we have a look at the base set of autographs, you have obviously the F1 drivers, we have some F2 drivers, and we also have some reserve drivers as well, which I'm not a huge fan of reserve drivers, but it is what it is, and they could be called up at any time, so I suppose it's good that they're there. But you can hit those in normal refractor autographs, green out of 99, gold out of 50, orange out of 25, red out of 5, printing plate 101s, and superfractors, same as all of the inserts. And there's about, I think, 30 odd-ish autographs that you can complete. But then they have Futuro autographs. So these are sort of future stars, if you like. Obviously, the biggest chase, again, I'll mention, is Oliver Bearman. The autographs in these Futuros are going to be numbered to 50. Even just the normal refractor version of it are numbered to 50. And you can only hit it in orange out of 25, red out of 5, and superfractor 1 of 1 for each of these drivers. And then we have the 1954 Topps signature. So that insert that I said is going to be the most common insert set. You got to be really careful because one of them may have an autograph on it. So keep an eye out for those. And you can hit those in refractor, orange out of 25, red out of 5, and 1 of 1 superfractors. But interestingly, team principals are featured in this subset of autographs. So you can hit some of your favorite team bosses if you're a team boss collector. They're not in the base set, but they are in the 1954 Topps signatures. So just bear that in mind when you're trying to collect them. And we move on to the brand new autographs for this year, Circuit Masters. This has like a almost like grass and the apex of a corner in the background, and obviously the driver in the middle. I'll put an image up here with their autograph. Some people don't like the look of these, some people do like the look of these. I think they look really cool, but these you can hit in refractor, again orange, red, or superfractor. That's it. And these feature not only F1 drivers, we have some F1 legends, but one that isn't featured in the F1 Legends set, and that's Mario Andretti. Now, the Andretti family are looking to get back into F1. They've heavily invested into setting up a base here in the UK, but more importantly, a lot of American collectors will want to collect him because Mario Andretti was the last F1 big USA driver. So to hit his autograph in a low numbered parallel is going to be a huge chase for many American collectors out there. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment down below. Do you think Mario Andretti is going to be a big chase this year? And that is it. We're at the end. So finally, that is all 200 base images with all of the parallels. And I've shown you every single insert with all of their parallel chances. And remember, this is just for the hobby boxes. I'm going to be doing a separate video regarding the qualifying lap. If you've stuck around till the end, thank you very much. Don't forget you can pre-order these hobby boxes over at hammondshobbies.com. There is a link in the description down below. You can also take part in box breaks and case breaks with myself over at Hammond's Hobbies on the Whatnot app. If you use the link in the description down below to sign up to Whatnot, you'll get £10 of free credit once you make your first purchase. So maybe you could even take part in Chrome 2024 for free. That's it from me, guys, on this video. I hope you've enjoyed that. All I ask in return is that you smash the like button up, share this video with anyone that may be looking to start collecting Formula One from 2024 onwards. This information may help them decide what product to buy and what parallels to chase. And hopefully with this information, it will help you decide where to put your money. I can actually see based on my website that the qualifying lap boxes have had 5 times more pre-orders already than the hobby boxes. So I actually think the qualifying lap boxes are going to be super popular between collectors, and I bet many of you are going to try and complete the set in ray waves. So I can see that being a very popular chase, and also because the box is only a third of the price, it means that a lot of you are going to complete base sets a lot faster than actually taking part in hobby boxes. But you don't have chances of autographs. But we'll get into all of that in the next video. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.